Hello and welcome everyone, I'm Madals and today I've got a best of one game. It is a TVZ and it is between Neeb, the red Terran player spawning in the bottom left position, and Evil Genius's Suppy, the blue Zerg, in the bottom right. So yeah, that was a really quick brief intro because yeah, this is really cool. It's a fun game, and I'm looking forward to it because I haven't cast a ZvT in a while. I have, of course, all cast it out, to be honest, because I am currently doing WCS EU Challenger Series. I'm casting all of that over at twitch.tv/WCS_EU2, I think is the thing. But if not, just go on my Twitter, I'll be tweeting about it, and it's super cool. Also, I've got, of course, the Dutch StarCraft League Finals coming up on the 1st of June, going over to the Netherlands to cast that. So if you are from the Netherlands, or within easy distance of The Hague, you should definitely come to the finals, because it's free entry, and it'll be awesome to watch. There's some cool people going, like Harstam, Rhett, etc. So yeah, that'll definitely be absolutely winning. Now let's talk a little bit about this game. What should we be expecting? Well, Neeb is going to be going for a Rax in his base, so nothing too crazy, no gas as of yet. Meanwhile, Suppy is almost certainly going to be going for a 15 hatch, because 15 hatch 16 pool is when you are a baby Zerg, and that's got nothing to do with baby night, just baby Zerg. You sit down and you are told, alright Zerg, against Terran, you always go 15 hatch, 16 pool. Unless, of course, you are doing something spectacularly crazy, because otherwise, just do that. You can hold nearly anything with that within reason, and it just works really, really nice. So, I wouldn't be worried in that respect, and to be honest, I think that ultimately 15 hatch, 16 pool against Terran is so safe, and it's just such a good build. There's a reason pros do it 99 times out of 100. It's just great. So, Neeb, he's going to just be getting out the Marine. He's probably going to go 1 Rax Command Center, to be honest. There's no reason not to do that. The SUV getting pulled at 300 minerals, so he'll be down there just as he reaches 400, which is the perfect time to arrive, and then, boom, Command Center right on the money. Neeb really playing solidly there. A refined build order is always good to see. And this just means that, in terms of early game, nothing too crazy should be happening. This Overlord does need to be a little bit cautious, though, or he could end up in Overlord Heaven, because this Marine is just like, hey, I'm a Marine. We don't have a second Marine coming out yet, though, so that's good news. And ultimately, the Overlord can get away. It's just a little bit of a pain, especially if he gets too far forward. And Neeb, he spots it. He's going to start shooting. Now, the Overlord is desperately trying to get over to this high ground. So this is the most exciting thing that's going to be happening in the early game now, because they have both gone for such a passive opening. It's the adventures of the Overlord. Ollie, the Overlord, is desperately going to try and get away from here. But of course, the Marine is going to come down. The Overlord should be fine, because obviously the Marine is not going to be able to get down here and pick it off quite in time. So smart move by Suppy there to bring it up and round, using the high ground vision to his advantage. The SCV has seen everything that it needed to see, though. There's 2 Zerglings coming out, because you don't really need any more than that. You just want to drone. You want to press the... You want to select your hatchery hotkey, which for Suppy is 5. So you want to press 5, you want to press S, and then you want to hold down the D key for a long time, and then get as many drones as you can before really worrying about anything else. Speed is on its way. The drones have been pulled out of gas as well, just maximizing the mineral income, suggesting that Suppy going to be trying to take a 3rd base relatively quickly. If he kept the gas, then maybe he was going to go and put on a little bit of pressure, but without the gas, just means that he wants a 3rd, knowing that his opponent took a quick command center. He should be safe doing so as well. The only decision he has to make is whether he takes this one, which is close to your natural, or the one slightly further away. Advantage of this one is just that, obviously, you can defend your natural quite easily there. Disadvantage, though, is that there's some quite tight chokes. Advantage of the one up to the north is that obviously you are further away, so your opponent has to commit more to come up here. Disadvantage, though, is there's the back entrance into it. And also you're further away from your natural, and specifically drops can be really effective if you're trying to defend up there. And for that reason, most Zerg players tend to take this closer one on Newkirk. Now, in terms of what else we've got going on, we've just got the starport. The factory is done with a reactor on it, but as of yet, nothing coming out. The first 2 Hellions just starting to get queued up now. One there's the second one. The starport as well. Hellion drops would be really nice on this map. We've also got the armory, so potentially Hellions pushing in the front and Hellbat drops coming down the back. That's quite likely, actually, on this map. The supply depot is down, but the Zerglings will not be able to get past this bunker, because the bunker has 3 Marines in it and will just shred apart. Suppy just taking the top base here, so not wanting to expand closer to his opponent, but rather spread out, which is, again, as I said earlier on in this game, which 3rd base you take is actually quite down to personal preference for Zerg. It's there's advantages and disadvantages to both, and therefore Suppy taking this one, the decision he's chosen for is to actually not expand towards his opponent, so to be safer from this choke area. But the damage he gets from that is if Hellions come around the back in here, and Suppy pulls all of his Zerglings up and through to defend that, if a drop simultaneously comes down in his main, getting those units back will be more difficult. And a really smart move actually coming down here from Neeb. He's choosing to get down a Viking first, so he's going to go Overlord hunting. And there is actually quite a few of them out on the field, so if Suppy doesn't pull those back relatively quickly, he could go losing them. We've got the 2 Hellbats coming out as expected. No medevac yet though, so I'm surprised the medevac didn't follow this up pretty much instantly, because that would allow for that Hellbat drop to go in the main, and that's obviously a very nice thing to see. But Neeb is getting a lot of work out of this Viking. It's already done 200 minerals worth of damage straight away when this goes down. Also just forcing Suppy to make some more Overlords to not get supply block, more than you'd necessarily need. He's also throwing down 2 Spore Crawlers just in case there's a Banshee or any drops coming down, as well as the Roach Warren. And +1 Carapace. +1 melee attack also started now, so probably going to be mainly Ling Bling Muta as a mid-game strategy from the Zerg player. Otherwise, he'd be getting the missile attack if he was going to be focusing on, say, Roach Hydra or potentially Swarm Hosts. So, where does this leave us? It could also be, the other thing it could be as well, is just a really quick tech up into Ultras, and obviously then they benefit from the melee attack as well. And that's a really nice strategy. You need to get your high bar around the 11-minute mark, and then you're going to hit some nice timings. Infestors are also good with that, just so you can shut it down. But the Zerglings are going to try and chase down these Hellions. The Roaches are there as well, helping with the defense. But here comes the double Hellbat drop. The Overlords have been pushed back by the Viking, which is another reason why having the Viking out early was a really smart move. Neeb getting his 3rd command center behind this. Is this Zergling going to spot it? This is the all critical thing. Will it see the 2 medevacs? The answer? No, it will not. A medevac does get spotted there just in time. That was so lucky, but of course simultaneous drops coming down. Meanwhile, we've got the Viking up here at the natural. Where are the units going to get pulled? Well, straight into the main base. 1 drop coming down towards the natural, 1 coming up towards the main. The boost in the of course, Spore Crawler is going to do some damage. The Hellbat drops in the best place possible. The Zerglings taking a bit of fire. Meanwhile, the other medevac coming up to the 3rd, and this is what I was saying earlier. If they are that spread out, it can be a problem, but unfortunately, only 1 Hellbat gets out from that drop. The drop in the main also gets cleaned down. But yeah, that was a really nice defense. 8 workers have been killed by Neeb in total, but Suppy is still ahead, so not a huge problem there. But Neeb does have his 3rd command center, already 2/3 done, forcing the Zerg player to take a 4th once that gets expanded. And ultimately, you need that 4th down to stay a base up and be in a good position. But here comes down the Spire, the Baning Speed also on its way, so Ling Bling Muta mid-game is really solid on this map because of obviously the close by air distance. You can really utilize Mutalisk to fly around everywhere. You've got some escape paths which are always good, and currently there's no missile turrets down for the Terran, and that means that they're going to be quite nice. There's only a single Viking out that can get taken down with ease. There's also not too many Marines. 10 Marines out in the field, a lot of Hellbats actually being incorporated into Neeb's army composition. That means that the anti-air is not really that beneficial. A single missile turret here, which means that if Suppy commits quite heavily to Mutalisk, he can just engage that head on if there's not more made in the near future. Obviously, we do see that a single Overlord is generating creep, trying to deny any expansion up here, but the expansion that Neeb will take will be the close one, because that's where he can park tanks quite nicely and get in a really defensive position, and he wants the Zerg player to have to fight in a choke, as opposed to being able to get us around. Some Zerglings running up, just going to take a quick little look-see around, get a good read of what's happening. We do see the more drops are trying to be utilised here by the Terran, and of course drops are a good thing to do, because you keep the Zerg pinned back, and if the Zerg player is back, then you can ultimately expand and have quite a nice time to tech up and do what you want. But the Mutas also serve the added benefit aside from harassment of shutting down drops highly effectively, because while boost does give medevacs the ability to get away temporarily from Mutalisks, it doesn't last long enough on most maps for the medevac to actually get away from the Mutas completely, and therefore the Mutas can chase them down and kill them off, denying the drops super well and just shutting down all of that style of play. So these are really the benefits of going Mutalisk against Terran. But these Overlords are going to go down a supply block for Suppy, quite a big one at that. He starts 6 more Overlords out straight away. That's frustrating, always going to be annoying, but in come the Mutas. The Zerglings on the ground as well. Mutalisk focusing down the medevac means there will be no escape, and the Marines get cleaned up with relative ease. That is the moment where of course drop play does get shut down. It's going to be really difficult now for Neeb to drop. The infestation pick getting started, ready to start up for the hives, and that just means Ultras potentially coming down. May see Broodlord super late game. We'll wait to see, but obviously with the Vikings out already, you have to be a little bit cautious of going Broodlords, but this is where ultimately the other disadvantage Brewdors on this is there's no siege tanks in the competition, so that doesn't help too much. Some Hellbats get caught out there by some Zerglings. Roach is trying to come in as well. The Mute is taking quite a bit of fire because the Marine count up to 24 now. That just means that obviously the Mutalisks will start taking some more damage, and Suppy not too happy about that, and Neeb just going to start pushing forward, and Neeb is just like, roaches suck. So yeah, the Ling pathing went a bit peculiar there, unfortunately, and Neeb is just, oh, that's just rubbing it in. Just rubbing it in. Poor Suppy with his roaches, not going to be doing too much. Hive is on its way. 18 Banelings are morphing, and if these Banelings get some good connects, this push will not be too effective. But what's the Mute count looking like? 9 are on the field. They haven't really been used for any harassment. Currently, Suppy has not killed a single worker this game, and that means the Neeb up at 67 SCVs. He's got 3 mules potentially available. Hasn't yet started on a 4th orbit command center yet, but he's not looking too bad. Pathogen glands getting researched. It is past the 30-second mark, so infestors can get started whenever Suppy wants, and that moment will be now. The fungal growths are going to be so important here, because if fungal growths are good, the Banelings will get great connections and be able to clean out this infantry Hellbat army. But if they don't get good connects, then that means that it's all going to come down to the Zergling and Baneling connections. Where are the Mutalisks? That's the big question. Here they are, they're flying straight over the army! That is a big problem, because of course a lot of them goes down, but in comes Suppy. He's rolling the Banelings in, the Marauders tanking up quite a lot of the fire, and there's quite a few Marines remaining. That means the Mutas will have to be very, very cautious. The Infestors are nearly ready to come out, but this 4th base of Suppy is likely to fall, and when it does fall, of course that means that a lot of drones will die. The income will be stunted. The 4th command center is on its way down as well. 4 Neeb behind this. He's already on 3 bases, so knocking a Zerg onto equal bases while taking a 4th is good, but a great fungal growth there. Chain fungals incoming, but incoming as well are reinforcements for Neeb. This means that Suppy is going to have to pull back, retreat, try and bide himself some time, get some good Baneling detonations, and ultimately just try and hold this off. And with that, with those fungal growths, he bought himself the time needed to get the Banelings down. And by getting the Banelings out and getting that good push, he has bought himself a bit longer in this match. But the big problem, and it is a big but at that, is the Neeb still has 3 mining bases. Suppy has 3 bases. The 4th command center is completing as well for the Terran. He is actually really close in terms of the worker count, especially when you factor mules in. Neeb, I would not be surprised if he has just equal supply, income, and that's really great for him. Of course, more Banelings are morphing. The Ultralisk Cavern just completing with fungal growth and a good number of Ultras. Suppy could have some great engagements, but if you look at the income and also the bank for Suppy, he's not got much, and he's sacrificing Infestors for nothing. Those Marines must be so proud right now. Killing 3 Infestors for nothing when your opponent is already on the ropes could not go any better for you. Neeb does have a 33 supply advantage. That is so good for him. He's taking his 4th base. This is likely to become a planetary fortress just to keep itself safe from any Zergling run-bys. But my goodness, these 2 Ultras do have to come out quick, and those, well, without the Infestors, only a single Infestor on the field. Not enough gas to make anymore. Things are not looking good for the Evil Geniuses player. Suppy, you've got to do so much. You've got to make this work. You've got to secure this 4th, otherwise you're going to be a base down. In comes the Zerglings, in comes the Banelings streaming forward. Big detonations on all of those Banelings, on a lot of the army, but is there enough? It looks like there won't be. Neeb pushing forward for the win now. He has got a lot of medevacs, he has got a lot of Hellbats, and a lot of Mutas, well, a very few number of Mutas coming in. The single Ultralisk om-nomming its way through to its death. The Marauders deal all of the damage, and Suppy, I think, is going to have no choice but to GG. Single Ultras coming in any time, no Infestors there, and there it goes, the GG comes down, and Neeb playing really nicely indeed. So congratulations to him. A couple of missteps from Suppy probably cost him the game. But yeah, if you enjoyed that cast, make sure you like the video, leave a cool comment, and of course subscribe. I get new games out daily, and if you can't wait for every day and you want to see lots of my action, then yeah, I'm casting WCS EU Challenger, and that'll be all this month. So I hope to see you there. I'm Madals, catch you tomorrow, bye.